All right, so the first thing I want to teach you is what I refer to as the big five, which are hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, vibrato, and bending, okay? These 5 techniques are absolutely crucial to an effective guitar solo. You want to be able to execute them properly and with confidence. You want to master these various techniques because for me, they're more important than any theory that you could ever learn, okay? When we think of great guitar players, what they're really doing is they're making the guitar sing. And these 5 techniques, these 5 elements, the big 5, are the ones that you really want to start thinking about. So again, I'm going to apply them to this first position of A minor pentatonic, but you could do this in any key with any scale in any position, right? So let's first take a look at number 1, which is going to be hammer-ons. Now, there are really 2 purposes for a hammer-on, but let's look at what a hammer-on is first. So let's say I went to the 4th string, and I went from my 1st finger to my 3rd finger, which is pentatonic, right? Those are 2 of my pentatonic notes. But instead of picking them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer the 7th fret down by striking that string. I'm going to smack that finger down. So I'm not just setting it down, I'm flicking my finger, I'm hitting it, right? So what you can see is I can do hammer-ons as an exercise. Okay? Now, hammer-ons serve really 2 purposes in my opinion. Number 1, they make things sound a little more smooth, or what we call legato. When we pick everything, it tends to get more of a staccato sound. When we hammer, it has more of this subtle, smooth sound to it. So again, remember, as you're playing, one thing you got to learn to do as we talk about all this stuff is you got to slow your brain down a little bit. It isn't just about how fast you can do stuff. Let's not even have that be part of our vocabulary right now, okay? What we're concerned with is how does it sound and how does it feel? Just keep reminding yourself that. So the hammer-on gives us that nice smooth legato sound, okay? The other thing that makes it nice is that it really does enable you to go faster than you might be able to pick. Let's say I was doing something like this. You can try this with me, okay? I'm going to go to the 5th fret of the 4th string and I'm going to do a hammer-on. And then I'm going to go to the 3rd string and do a hammer-on. So I'm going like this. I'm picking, hammering, picking, hammering. Now, because there's a hammer in between each one, it actually gives me some time to prepare before I have to pick again. Okay, so I could do this. You see? Now again, it's not that it has to be fast, but you can see how because I'm not having to pick everything, I potentially could take that lick or that idea and I could make it even faster than it potentially could be if I was trying to pick everything. Plus, it's got a nice legato sound to it. Now, the trick with any of this stuff, and certainly when you're trying to do hammer-ons or legato playing, is that you've got to learn how to control the strings like we talked about before, but I'm going to give you one other idea to think about here. Okay, it's what I call Frankensteining. And what Frankensteining is when you try and play and you keep trying to pick each finger up as you play, right? So I play this note and then I try to go to this note and I go to this note and I try to go. So I'm like doing this with my fingers. I don't want to do that. I want to walk like normal people walk, not Frankenstein, right? I want to play this note and then hammer. So there's a small amount of time where this finger is waiting for this one to get where it needs to go so he can get out of the way and go to the next thing. Now, you can get really fast at that, but what's really nice about that is it enables you to make a nice, smooth transition. Now, Frankensteining certainly happens when you're just picking notes too, so you want to really be aware of that, okay? So even when you're picking notes, Don't try and... But give yourself just that little layover of that finger before you take off. And that can make a nice, smooth transition. Okay? So, hammer-ons, very, very important. So the next thing we've got are pull-offs. Now, pull-offs are the opposite of hammer-ons. Pull-offs want to go the other direction. We're going from a high note to a lower note. Okay? So let's say I was on the first string, and again, I'm just using A minor pentatonic, and I do a pull-off. I want both fingers down at the same time, and I'm going to flick that string with my finger like a guitar pick would do. See, a guitar pick wants to strike that string. Well, that's what my finger's going to do. It's going to flick that string like a guitar string, or a guitar pick would, excuse me. So I'm not just taking it off, I'm actually flicking that string. Now notice the Frankenstein element. When I get here, I've got to get this finger in place before I can do that pull-off. And again, deadening out everything I don't want as I do this. So hammer-ons and pull-offs, very, very crucial for sound, okay? Now, you can actually put hammer-ons and pull-offs together and get a technique called trills. Now, a trill is when you do hammer-ons and pull-offs back and forth. Right? So, oftentimes I'm trying to deaden out everything around it as I'm doing that. So you'll see I'm actually touching the strings there to get the proper sound. But you'll see I'm actually hitting the string and then I'm flicking that finger to get the trill sound. Now, trills are really important. In all honesty, I don't know that they're as important as hammer-ons and pull-offs because we're going to be using those all the time organically, but a trill is a nice thing to know. Okay? So learning how to play those hammer-ons and pull-offs, really, really important. Okay?